You're listening to Overdoing It, the Rhode Island Library podcast. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Overdoing It, where our team of library workers dish about their latest reads, views, and passions, alongside fascinating conversations with local luminaries. I'm your host, Dave Bartos, coordinator of adult services at Cranston Public Library, and my pronouns are he, him. Let's dive in and discover who our guests are today.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Maria Cotto. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I'm the bilingual children's librarian at the Pawtucket Public Library and the chair of the Rhode Island Latino Books Award Committee.
And hello, I'm Marta Martinez. I'm the executive director of Rhode Island Latino Arts. And the Rhode Island Latino Books Award is a program of RILA. RILA being Rhode Island Latino Arts. I know you people out there think of RILA as a different organization, but in this case, we'll be referring to the Latino arts. I'm also a community oral historian, so that might come out during our conversation.
Yeah, wonderful. So a little bit later in the show, we're going to talk with Maria and Marta about Hispanic Heritage Month, which is celebrated September 15th to October 15th every year, and find out what they've got planned and in store for that commemoration. But before we get to that, let's start off, as we always do, with what have you been reading?
Yeah, so I said my title, I'm bilingual children's librarian, so I read a lot of picture books, but in my own spare time, I like to read cookbooks because I'm trying to look for new recipes for my children because they're complaining that I keep cooking the same thing over and over again. They're like, Dad again, Mom?
I identify with this,
again.
Maria. Yeah.
So I came across this fabulous book. It's called So Easy, So Good, Delicious Recipes and Expert Tips for Balanced Eating by Kylie Sakaide. And I came across that book. I get the Barrington Books newsletter, and I got that book from that newsletter. And it caught my attention. It said it was delicious. It said it was easy. Easy is so good, and it's healthy and balancing eating. Oh yeah, I want to look at that book. Of course,
let's do it. Yeah.
So when I came across that book, I came across simple little things that I see all the times, but I just never done it myself, like making shredded chicken tacos. Because I like to do recipes that don't require a lot of ingredients. If it has more than 5 ingredients, I'm not doing it because there have been times when I've done cooking and I've gone all out spending more than $30. And then when I finish doing my cooking, it just doesn't look like in the picture. Like, that's a disaster. So no more than 5 ingredients. Either I get it right or I get it right. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll be cooking shredded chicken tacos, fast fajitas, and I'm gonna try. I'm into soups now because my sister, she's huge on soups. So I'm looking at doing a dumpling soup that looked pretty simple to do. I also have a lot of vegan friends. In the past year, my friends are vegan, and I'm trying to blend in. But I'm Puerto Rican, and and I eat rice and bean and pork, and I don't even mention those words because I can't do that. My friends are vegan. So I came across an easy book called Vegan Yak Attack on the Go. Isn't that cool?
That's a good title.
Yeah, it's a it's a book that has plant-based recipes for your fast-paced vegan lifestyle. So they're quick and easy recipes by Jackie Savon, and she's the founder of the Vegan Yak Attack. And she includes smoothies. One of the recipes that I saw that I really like was the spinach ricotta stuffed shells. And I'm still looking for more ideas. And again, I'm looking for simple ideas, new ideas that don't require a whole lot of ingredients. But what I like about eating when I do eat vegan, especially when I'm around my friends, you can totally feel the difference. I actually feel like it's very clean eating, and I feel good about it. When I eat my Spanish food, I feel like it's heavy food. But when I eat the vegan, it's like I'm full, but I don't feel heavy. I don't want to get away from eating my traditional Puerto Rican food because that is my culture and I'm very proud of it. And I'm where I'm come from. But I want to start introducing these new ideas and incorporating them into our meals, baby steps. It's not like I'm going to, all of a sudden be an expert in vegan food, but, it'll also help me, when I'm with my vegan friends, they're like, oh, yeah, I did this meal. How about that? Right. Yeah, I got this.
Look at me.
What do you know?
I love that. I wasn't expecting to get hungry on this lunchtime recording, but I love this for me. How about you, Marta? What have you been reading lately?
Wow. Well, I have a wide range of books. We actually started a new program this summer. I think we were talking about that earlier. What did you do this summer? We started a program called Páginas. It's a book circle, and it's something I've been trying. We had what we call artist gatherings as part of RILA, and people are invited in every genre. And I kind of walk around and listen, and I heard more than once, wouldn't it be great to have a bilingual reading circle? Not a book club. It was a circle people can feel welcome, and having it bilingual so that everybody feels welcome. If you're not fully reading in Spanish, and I find most of the people that do come through our doors, including the artists, are at that point where they're fully bilingual and they lean towards English, but they want to retain their Spanish culture. And sometimes it's not speaking Spanish completely. So we have bilingual books. And we looked at a ton of books. Everybody had ideas, from Sandra Cisneros to Julia Alvarez. And I've read their books, especially Sandra, because she's Mexican and that's my background. But I actually picked one that was a lot closer to my border. So I was born in Mexico, but I was raised in the border. I was raised in El Paso, and there's like border stories. There's actually a genre that authors write about the frontera, the border. And so I picked one called Retablos, and it's by Octavio Solis, and it's a series of short stories. Some of them are 2 pages long, others are 5. And they actually take place in El Paso.
Okay.
And they're interesting because they really depict border life. What's it like to live in 2 cultures? Literally, you're looking across a border, and that reflects my upbringing. I used to look out my back window and look into Juarez, Mexico, and the stories that the author chose to share with us. They're personal stories, but they're basically, I connect to that kind of literature.
Yeah.
I realize more than I do just, others, even though I enjoy Sandra Cisneros. But that's what we read this summer. And there was one in particular that caught my eye because I drive a Jeep. I've been driving Jeeps for years, and it's called The Jeep in the Mud. And it's really, it's a beautiful story. It's short, but it's about a Jeep that gets stuck in the Rio Grande. And it's in 2 places. It fell into the water, and you're in Juarez and you're in El Paso.
Yeah.
And it was beautifully written because it does describe that feeling of being in 2 cultures, trying to push it into Juarez, trying to push it into El Paso. It didn't quite want to go in any directions.
Yeah.
So I found a new type of genre that I think I'm going to be reading more often, even though it's been under my nose.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading this summer.
I love that. We have a concept in libraries. It's the mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. That's Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop. And the idea that, sometimes a story is a window into someone else's life, but sometimes it's a mirror to your own life. And sometimes you can even step through it into another experience. And I think everybody deserves to have all of those kinds of stories. And so that's incredible to find one for yourself. I love that.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that saying. It's a mirror that you could walk into. And it reflects you, and you can walk in, but you can always turn around and it reflects you, the other side of you, and you can walk back. I love that. Yeah.
I had a coworker. We ran a graphic novel book group, and we read Ms. Marvel, which is with Kamala Khan, and she's a Pakistani American girl living in Jersey City. And there was a scene where she was eating pakora with her family. And my friend that we co-ran this book group with, she was like, I can't believe that she's eating pakora. I make pakora. And she actually brought pakora to our book group meeting, and she talked about how she wasn't expecting to find that mirror in this comic book, and how impactful it was, and just to see her own experience expressed not in any kind of way except like a way that exists, right? It wasn't a plot point. It was just she's a kid eating her family's meal, and how much that meant to her.
Yeah, graphic novels are great too. I've kind of moved over into them. My kids have been reading them, and at first I used to get a little put off. My son had to read in high school all the Shakespeare. Yeah. And one day I went in there and found in his bed, a Romeo and Juliet graphic novel and a Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm like, what are you doing? Read the story. But I think if that's what it takes for them to read Shakespeare, let him read it in a graphic novel. Right. And then later on, he did go back. I mean, so this is high school. And then later on in college, he picked up the book and read it. So it was an introduction to a masterpiece. And he could have a conversation about Shakespeare,
right?
Just from that graphic novel. So I really appreciate now that whole new entry into the graphic novel world, because it gets kids reading. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, I love all this. So moving right along, have either of you watched anything that's caught your attention lately?
Yes. So I mentioned early on that I'm an oral historian. Part of what I love is documentaries, because it's kind of like, when you see a documentary, it's kind of how oral histories are shaped. You're interviewing somebody and you're getting their stories. And documentaries, I think, are the same way. You get an insight into a person through a documentary and through an oral history transcript, or listening to somebody. And I recently watched a documentary by Shirley Chisholm. She was the first Black woman to run for president. Actually, I think to even be elected into Congress. And I knew about her, and I remember living through that time when she was running. And I thought it was amazing to see that. But when you're young, you're not really thinking about the meaning behind that. But watching that documentary, it really brought me to the present time, because it was a struggle. I mean, being the first person, just like immigrants today, they're the first people to go through that experience if you come fresh from another country. And it was like her. She was walking into this, not a mirror, like we just said. It was a black hole almost. And I really loved seeing the insights and what was going on in the back room, back room of her brain, her mind, and the struggles that she went through. She didn't win the presidency, but she did stay in office as a congresswoman. Being a woman and a Black person was in the 60s was difficult, 60s and 70s. So I watch that, and I actually love watching those series on Netflix, because I can go back and watch the different episodes. And so I'm a big Netflix fan for that reason. I can just rewind and go back to a certain episode. So that's what I watched. Just last week I finished it.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds incredible.
I am excited. I like, I love Halloween, and I love being scared. So there is this great movie that's coming up pretty soon. It's called Conjuring Last Rites. Okay, it's a series, and this is part 4. And it's a supernatural horror film. Yeah. And the actor in that movie is Patrick Wilson, and he's also been in other movies, horror films like The Insidious. And I watch all of those. There's like 4 in that series, or 5. But yeah, I like being spooked. I really do. And obviously, I'm not going to go for myself because those movies are pretty scary, and it's based on a true story. That I was looking up that movie, and it's based on the Perron family here in Rhode Island. They rented a farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. And it was based on their experience living in that farmhouse. They lived there for about 10 years, and that's how they came about this movie. I won't be driving through Harrisville. I get it's booked out. I'm not going over there. But I'll go watch the movie though.
Fantastic.
I should see what that's all about. But hey, it's the season, right?
Right.
But yeah, scary movies. I like to watch Marvel movies. I like DC movies too. The Superman. I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I saw it.
You did? How was it? Was it good?
I love it. I'm a Superman fan. So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
See it. I was right there on the first day.
I love it.
Well, they keep changing the Superman guy, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "No."
Yeah,
But I've been hearing that the movie is good.
You got to keep them young, with the actor. 10 years, the actor gets 10 years older, so you got to find a new one.
Right.
But you'll like it. Yeah, I think you'll like it.
All right. I'll put it down. I have to watch Superman.
Well, I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month. So whoever wants to kick it off, talking about what's in store for Rhode Island Latino arts, what's in store for the Latino Books Award this year, what people have to look forward to.
I think one of the things I love how this flows without really, at least not in my eyes, but maybe Maria did this on purpose, but we kick it off in September. And I suspect it's because that's when school starts, but it's a coincidence. So Hispanic Heritage Month runs from September 15th through October 15th. So we're getting ready. We've just assembled our committee. Maria usually does that all by herself, and I'm trying to give her a hand this year. It looks like a really very robust. I will say one thing, if anybody's out there listening and you're a librarian, you don't have to be Latinx, Latino, Latina, but we don't have any men. We need a male librarian or a male reader. Teachers. I mean, I know I'm going to let Maria go into what the criteria is, but we have a great team, and Maria's we're about to schedule our first meeting, and then it's all in Maria's hands. Yeah, so that's coming up in September, right, Maria?
Yeah, so the Rhode Island Latino Books Award is going on its 11th year, promoting books written by Latinos for Latinos. And we promote not only Latino authors, but also illustrators. And we are covering all grade levels. So we promote books from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And this is a celebration of Latino authors all year round. The committee works from September through May, but we try to promote it all year round to teachers, educators, and to anyone who may be interested in what we do. And the whole purpose of this book award is to get students and families familiar with Latino authors. It's something that is not talked about enough. And we did this book award to help open people's eyes, to have somewhere to turn to when they're looking for these Latino authors. I have many teachers and librarians who sometimes want to book a Latino author and they don't know where to look. And on our the Rhode Island Latino Arts website, we have a section for the Rhode Island Latino Books Awards. So on our website, you'll find a book list that we have been compiling for the past 11 years of all different Latin American authors, because there's a wide, diverse culture within our own culture. I mean, we cover people from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Mexico, and all Latin America. And our books, some of them are just all of them are English, but there are some that are available in English and in Spanish. It's mostly the picture books, but there might be a few in chapter books that are not bilingual, but you'll be able to find a copy of it in English and also in Spanish. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to encourage families and students to reach in both languages, because that's something that especially within the Latin community, is that, the students start going to school, they always spoken Spanish at home, and as they blend in school, they start losing the Spanish, and then they don't want to speak Spanish, and
Yeah.
and we don't want that to happen. So we want to make sure we have both languages, and we try to include a little bit of everything: mystery, horror, funny books. Some are bios, fantasy, and now we're trying to include graphic novels because that's what we were talking about, right? I mean, that's what kids nowadays want. So we try to include a little bit of everything to keep them wanting to read the books that we put on our book list.
Absolutely. And I think it's important, and I know Maria and Marta, you both would agree with this, that when we talk about books that highlight Latin American authors, Latin American experiences, it's not assigning homework, because what we're basically saying is like, read these good books. Like, these are all good books. You will enjoy them. They're, like you said, they're funny, they're history, they're graphic novels. We're focusing on this identity, but it's not like, it's also just like, read some good books. Like, these are good books that you should be reading about and learning about. And that's, again, it's for everybody. I know I've, with my kids as they were younger, for sure, and as they've gotten older, thinking about who's in the books, who are they learning about as they're reading, but also like, they'll be like, oh, I want to read this book. And they grabbed a book from the Spanish section. And it's like, yeah, I can sound out Spanish. We can figure this out and, enjoy this story.
And going back to our mirror theme.
Yes.
It's picking up a book and seeing yourself in it. I think that's really, for me, that has been like at the top of my list. Having kids pick up a book and see themselves. And not necessarily that just because they're Salvadorian, they see another Salvadorian author or illustrator or subject matter, but just, having a brown person be in the book. Yeah. And even more so lately, the past few years, 2 or 3, we've even expanded it. I mean, we want kids who are Latino to also see themselves if they happen to be. I was really thrilled. I think it was 2 years ago. We had one about it's good to be. It dealt with a subject of an overweight teenager, right? The whole book. And there are kids who pick up books and don't see themselves in that way, right? So they're Latinos, Latinas, and they also see that area. There's also a book that we touched on gender and Latinos, and what's it like to have two, go to a school and have two of these qualities. So we're really like hoping that the kids pick up that mirror, that book, and see themselves in it, and not just because it's a language thing. Because they're more than just Latinos. They're diverse in many, many ways.
And these are books that not just the students are going to enjoy, but the adults as well, because I read these books as well. And one of the books that come to my mind right away is Frizzy by Claribel Ortega. And it talks about how she has to go to the salon and get her hair straightened out, and they sell empanadas and they have music. I was like, girl, that's totally me.
Right.
And you don't hear those kind of stories in books. So the illustration was wonderful. That book is a graphic novel. And just seeing that that story talk about her experience going to a salon is not your typical thing that you do at a salon. Not many people know that that's how it is in the Latin community. It's like a family gathering where we have conversation, we have music, we have food. We're enjoying art. It's just like a whole afternoon event at the salon. So it's nice to be able to share that with others who are unfamiliar with our culture, and show a little, give a little window as to how it is in our culture.
Yeah, so, the other area I love that you brought up the hair thing, because that is a topic. But then there's the immigration status. We've had some books where kids are DACA, right? They're DACA students, DACA kids. What does that mean? What does that feel like? And there's that whole group out there who connects with that subject matter. And then there's those who are American born but who have friends. And I think, again, that's just a very important topic, not just for us as Latinos to understand, for those who are not, because that, as a graphic novel or as a picture book, it really explains it clearly, like Maria said. I love reading these books. As soon as we get the set, I read them all, every
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I enjoy them. I really do, especially the high school books, the
Yeah.
And
older
our
books.
book award is really a big deal because not only do we promote books to get the books in the hands of the kids, we're also trying to bring these Latino authors to Rhode Island, whether it is virtually or in person, because we want people to be like, oh my God, this Latino author is just coming to Rhode Island. How cool it is to meet this author who has written all these books. By the way, the Rhode Island Children's Book and Author Festival on October 18 is having their festival, and a Latina author is coming to that event. That is Judy Morales. She is a Mexican-American author, and she'll be here if you want to check her out. And that's an all-day event. But we also try to connect with Latino authors, and we've had the opportunity in the past to connect with various different authors virtually, where they provided 30 minutes of their time and working, and we connected with the schools where they talked about their book and gave the students the opportunity to ask questions and connect with the authors. So
absolutely.
That has been a wonderful experience. We've also had different publishing companies send their books to us for us to review their books. So our book award is not just known here locally in Rhode Island, but is known nationally. Marta, did you want to say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's really a thrill to see that, because Maria and I laugh, and when we first started it, we're like just picking books. Here it's 5 books. Here's 4 books. These are the ones we should read. And then the committee thing met. But then now we get emails from, like just Maria said the other day, we had a publishing company wanting to promote their book, but also on social media, when we push it out, we have authors who follow us now. And when they see their book listed, they share, they tag. They get so excited. And guess what? Now my book is being read in Rhode Island for the Rhode Island Latino Books Award. And when I first started this program, I looked to see who else was doing something similar. There was no one else. So we just went forward. And now people are coming to us. I get emails from other states asking us. So I put together this guideline. And so we became a pilot program for other book award. I'm not sure how big they are and whether they're consistent, but we've been consistent now for, as Maria said, 11 years. It's exciting.
Fantastic.
Rhode Island is on that map.
Yeah. It never fails to impress me how many incredible things are happening in this state. The things people are doing and how nationally recognized all of that work is, and yourselves included. It's it's obvious to me that you all are this fantastic. So I'm not surprised, but that's incredible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who've never really heard about the Rhode Island Latino Books Award, the Rhode Island Latino Books Award is very similar to other book awards that are happening here in Rhode Island. In Rhode Island here, we have the Rhode Island Children's Book Award, the Rhode Island Middle School Book Award, and the Rhode Island Teen Book Award. And then there's the Rhode Island Latino Books Award. And we work pretty similar to what they do, in that we compile the book list, and then we want to encourage the students and families to read 3 books according to their grade level. And then there's a voting that happens in April and May, where the kids can vote for the book that they like the most. And then at the beginning of June, we announce the winners that have been voted, not only in the schools, but in the public libraries and online. All the voting occurs right online. And then we make that announcement, and we try to connect with the authors and the illustrators who have won, and share that with everyone.
Fantastic. All right. So as we wrap up, I just wanted to ask if there's anything else you wanted to share with our audience. Looking forward to, again, the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration and Rhode Island Latino Books Award.
Yeah, outside of the books, we are actually talk about founding. We started Hispanic Heritage Month celebration in Rhode Island as well. So we facilitate it. So if anybody has any activities they would like to include in our website or in our list, send them to us. I do want to highlight Sabor Latino. That's our annual kickoff. It focuses on food. And this year we're going to focus on Central Falls and go to to a few, once a week, we'll be going to a different Latino restaurant. There are tickets. The chef will come out, the owners will come out and tell you the story of how they opened it and why they opened it, and serve you their favorite dishes. It's $20, but you get a good meal out of that. So
that sounds
hopefully
fantastic.
You can participate in that.
Making me hungry again, Marta. I love it. How about you, Maria?
We'll try to throw some vegan recipes.
That'd be great. Yeah. So, no, the only thing that I want to add is that if you would like more information about the Rhode Island Latino Books Award, or even about the Hispanic Heritage Celebration, you can visit the Rhode Island Latino Arts website. Marta has information about what's coming up now in the fall for Celebration Hispanic Heritage Month. Great. And about RILA itself. And then there's also a link there for the Rhode Island Latino Books Award. And shoot me an email. I work at the Pawtucket Public Library. If you want to shoot me an email to ask me more or how to participate, I'll be happy to share that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, so we wrap up every episode of our show with a segment called The Last Chapter, where we share a library bookish-related question. And since we've been talking about mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors and the work of Dr. Sims Bishop, I wanted to ask you, if you were able to step into the world of a novel, is there one that you would pick, and why is that? And I can go first, which is I would totally go into the Shire in The Hobbit, specifically, just that kind of bucolic, community-based living just sounds like a wonderful place to just go in and exist in.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to Superman. I really am a huge Superman fan, and I just would love to step in there and go to Metropolis and see him fly by, not necessarily go for a ride in his arms, but just to see how that is. Yeah, I would love to step into a graphic novel, as long as I can come back out.
Yes, yeah, of course.
I don't know. I'm still thinking horror. That's what's in my head. That's been in my head ever since I saw that script. So stepping into a horror, scary graphic novel book.
Right. As long as you get to be the final girl, right, Maria?
Not really, but
oh my goodness.
But no, some horror would be nice. I guess I want to be spooked. I really do.
Yes. All right. I love it. Thank you both for joining me, and thank you everyone for listening. If you would like to tell us what novel or fictional universe you would like to step into, or if you just want to reach out to the show, you can send us an email at overdoingitpod@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at overdoingitpod. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend and rate or review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to help us reach more Rhode Islanders. Overdoing It is proud to be a resident partner of the Rhode Island Center for the Book and is brought to you by library staff and community members all around the Ocean State. The project has been funded in part by the Rhode Island Office of Library and Information Services. Thank you again for listening. This has been another episode of Overdoing It, the Rhode Island Library Podcast. We're overdoing it, but you're doing just fine.